Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Rewind that. It's your girl Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Today guys, we're going to be going over the latest episode of P-Valley, Season 2, episode number 3 called The Dirty Dozen. Okay guys, the episode starts off with Roulette in the Paradise Room and she is doing her thing on the pole, okay guys, but she got the mask on and I guess she's just turning her little client on and he wants to see more. He wants to see her face, and when he sees her face, he sees her lips and he likes them and he calls them DSLs and he wants her lips on him. Now, many of you have already watched my death prediction video that I had about Roulette. If you haven't, go ahead and check that out. But if you have, you pretty much know my thoughts on this. So I'm just going to sum it up real quick and just say that Roulette is about breaking all the rules. She doesn't care. And I do believe that this is going to end very badly for her. And it can also end bad for the Pink or cause trouble for the Pink because she's basically doing prostitution inside of the Pink, which is illegal. All right, guys. We also see that the word gets around. Okay, after she does this little transaction with this guy, the word gets around and he tells everybody else. So now there's other folks that come to the Pink that want to find the chick with the DSLs. Next, Mercedes goes to her gym and honey, it needs lots of work. Okay, it's nowhere near ready to open up or anything. Okay, I wouldn't want my kids in no place like that. I feel like it's a hazard, you know, like I want them falling on my kids, like you got to walk in there with a hard hat on or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's a stretch, but whatever, you get my point. Okay, and we see that she is on the phone with Coach and Coach looks mighty different, guys. Okay, this is not the same actor. All right, but it's all good. So remember, in last season, Coach offered basically to be her sponsor. You know, I'll put you up in a condo and you ain't got to want for nothing. You know, I'll be your silent investor for your gym. And so, you know, now she's just in this situation where I feel like she's getting a little desperate. And she's like, listen, I definitely need me a sponsor now. And I think that if the pandemic didn't hit, she probably would have never taken him up on this offer. But the panty is doing some damage, okay? So she's like, listen, if you still, you know, the offer still stands, then her sister is ready, all right? So she's like, but I want to meet your wife first. Like, I want her to be there. You said she know about it, so I want her to be there. So we know that later on she goes to meet the wife, and the wife is not too happy to see her, okay? Which is definitely understandable. You know, I really feel sorry for this lady. Her name is Farah. She's beautiful, you know, and I feel sorry that she has to be in this kind of situation, you know. Mercedes was very polite towards her and just, you know, complimenting her on her home. You know, it's beautiful and everything. And Farah was like, you mean beautiful? You know, like, girl, please, you were so daggone ignorant. Please don't do that. She didn't say all that, but you know. So we basically see that right now they're getting off to a rocky start because this chick is just, she's not really with it, but she's going to play, you know. So she has this file that she hands to Mercedes and she's like, sign page such and such and such and such and the NDA, okay? Got to get that non-disclosure going on. And Mercedes is looking at Coach like, what in the world is this all about, you know? But it's like, hey, girl, the wife is involved. This what she want. This what you're going to have to do, okay? Next, Lil Murda in Mississippi, you know, they continue on with their tour in their golden hearse with the red inside, honey. And they stop at a little convenience store where the chick was mighty scared, okay? And look, I don't blame her because as a black woman, I would have probably been scared. Like, you know, y'all walking up in here. I understand it's the pandemic, but y'all walking up in here with some gangster rags on over your face. Like, you got this red bandana over your face. It was just too much. So I'm not trying to say that I side with the chick because she was most likely racial profiling, but it looked a little dangerous. I ain't gonna hold you. It looked a little scary, okay? But anyway, everything goes well and they're out in the parking lot and they're taking pictures and everything. And Lil Murda and Mississippi, they take such cute pictures together. And all of a sudden, you know, they're face to face and she winks her eye and Lil Murda starts like, you know, like he's trying to catch his breath and everything, and he falls back and he's dead now on top of the hearse. And they laughing and joking because they think it's so funny. They playing this little stupid killer game, and I'm telling you, this game is giving me bad foreshadowing vibes. Okay, now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 of them here. I don't know out of that 5 how many is gonna die, or you know, if it's just gonna be one. who is it going to be, guys? But I'm almost feeling like it might be more than one body. And I just don't like that feeling. I think I already mentioned this in the live last night. Somebody said that this season seemed to be a bit darker. Shout out to King Mars, who I believe that's who told me that this season seems a little darker. And I definitely agree. And I feel like I have this like sad anticipation that somebody's going to die, and I'm definitely not going to be happy about it. All right, guys, moving on. We're back at the Pink, and we got Uncle Clifford talking to his partner, the owner, Haley, okay? And last night on the live, I misquoted my man, okay? I should never do that, okay? He said, crooked heifer, bye, okay? And I think I said M-I, crooked letter, bye. That was totally wrong. Anywho, so they're discussing, business as usual. And he is basically telling her that you screwed up, okay? You were in charge of that hot mess of a reopening, okay? And he said, you know what? I'm going to take 15%. You was 85% responsible, okay? Then this is when it seems like he's trying to renegotiate like his ownership. And so he goes, I'm willing to let you have 65% of it. And this chick is still trying to go higher, talking about 75, So then eventually they negotiate to 69%. And I'm just like, Uncle Clifford, why in the heck are you trying to stay so low on the ownership of your company? I don't get it. But you know what, guys? You already know how I feel about this, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse. But anyway, guys, we got Big Bone over there, listening to some music, and she jamming, and Uncle Clifford gets up and he's like, hey girl, yes, what you know about this song and that song, blah blah blah. So they see that they need a DJ for their new night, their new reopening night, whatever the heck they gonna call it this time, okay? And Big Bone says that she can do it, even though Uncle Clifford has something to say about that. Uncle Clifford eventually said, you know what, girl, go ahead, you can't be no worse than Big L, okay? Next, Lil Murda and his team finally get to their hotel, and they got everything laid out for Mississippi, okay? Strawberries and champagne, and don't forget chocolate, okay? And Lil Murda's like, where is mine? But he know daggone well he allergic, so hello, you don't get none. But anyway, Roman's over here taking pictures of Mississippi and Lil Murda, and oh my gosh, he posted it on the gram, and Mississippi was like, did you post that already? She starts to flip out. And as I talked about in the live, I feel like this is a confirmation that she fled the scene, okay, of her home. Her man did not give her permission, and she don't need him to have a freaking location on her. So I do believe that this means that this dude is going to pop up on one of these daggone tours. It's going to be some drama. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going down, okay? Next, Lil Murda and his crew, they go to look like some type of after-hours spot. I don't know if this is the same club that they was already performing at, but regardless, they sitting down at the bar and talking and everything. Lil Murda ain't nowhere to be found right now, but it's Rome and Teak and Wody. And in comes Pico and his squad. And, everything was probably going to be okay as far as Teak goes until Wody told him that there was an issue between Pico and Lil Murda. He was like, ain't seen him since your boy knocked him out or whatever. So Teak was like, what for? And Wody was like, well, I don't get involved in y'all little gang life stuff. I don't know. So I feel like Teak is just so loyal to Murda that it don't matter what for. So it's like, if you got beef with him and he knocked your behind out, then now you got beef with me. So when Pico comes up, he's thinking it's all love. And Teak was just on some like aggressive type stuff. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, come on, yo. We don't need this. You know what I'm saying? Look, I appreciate that he's supposed to be the security and everything. But like, oh my gosh, it's too much. You know what I'm saying? And it is going to cause some freaking problems. Because, guys, Pico is really caught off guard by this. He's like, I don't understand what the heck. Like, it's like that. He don't know what is going on. All right. But Rome got to stand up and get in the middle of them. Like, listen, y'all cannot be doing this here. You know what I mean? So they walk away from that situation. But we know what happens later, and we're going to get into it when we get there, okay? Oh, but guys, before we move on, oh my gosh. So, I can't believe I almost forgot this. So, Pico and Rome and Pico's dude with all the freaking gold in his mouth, they talking a little bit and talking about how, you representing Murda and all that. And Rome is like, no, I represent the reason why he's popping. No, I represent Mississippi. And Pico's guy is like, oh, wow, his lady is fine, giving all these props and everything. And of course, this hater, Pico, got to come through to him, that ain't his lady. You know what I'm saying? So his friend responds by saying, that Negro stay with a bad bee on his arm and a mixtape in the streets, bigging him up, which was, I thought that was cool. Okay. Remember, he was the one that when they drove by, I think on the first episode, he was the one like, when you gonna drop another single or whatever, like he looking forward to the music. So clearly here, he was serious about that. But we know that Pico is in the back seat and Pico and him got beef, So here go Pico with, when he drop his next mixtape, Trade Tales, he tells his friend, you gonna owe me some blue hundreds, okay? Now, I don't know what the heck Trade Tales is supposed to mean, guys. But clearly, he is trying to spill some tea, okay? And Rome looked like he caught that because maybe that's a phrase that's familiar to them because Rome definitely looked like he was catching on. But we shall see, right? Next, we get back to Mercedes and Coach and Farrah, and they sitting around all awkwardly and stuff like that. So Mercedes breaks the ice, and she's like, I love these pictures of you, Coach. And he said, yeah, my wife took them back in the day when she used to be a photographer. And Farrah was like, I'm still a photographer. He was like, well, you know what I mean, like a professional photographer. So he's basically trying to play her and her art, you know what I'm saying? And Sadie gets up and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. They look professional to me. And, she starts saying, look, I love how you captured him from above and this and that. You don't normally see a picture like that. Normally it's like they're looking down at us or whatever, so she just captured it. And this really opens Farrah's eyes a little bit to Mercedes, like, I might like this chick. She probably a little different from all the other hoes, you know what I'm saying? And so, as the night progresses, Coach wants Mercedes to get up on that pole and show his wife what basically brings all the boys to the yard, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh my gosh, Sadie, are you really going to do this with your arm still acting up? But, they did remove the energy. So maybe it ain't that daggone bad. And clearly it ain't heavy. You know what I'm saying? But it still got to heal some, right? But anyway, she gets up on that pole, honey, and she is doing her thing. And Farrah is turned on, all right? And they all start freaking getting it in. But first it started off with Coach and Mercedes getting it in front of Farrah. I'm like, really though? That's what y'all doing? Like, oh my gosh, that was kind of annoying to me. But shoot, Farrah said, not without me, and she got right on over there. And here they go threesome. But then that my gummy bear, my gummy bear. Listen, that phone was ringing throughout this episode. Every time we see Mercedes, there was some gummy bear ringtone going off because her daughter Terica has been trying to get a hold of her. And you can tell that she wanted to tell Mercedes what was going on with Shell, but this poor baby has been left to take care of her drunk mother, all right? But anyway, as they're getting it in, it's not Terica on the phone, it's the sheriff, okay? And like, listen, I got your daughter. She's in cuffs. You better get the heck down here. So she got to go down there and see what's going on with Terica. And we find out that it's because she driving around Shell with her drunk freaking behind. And this little girl is too young to be driving. She ain't got no freaking license, okay? Even though down south you can get your license way earlier than up north. But she is still too young. She doesn't have a license, okay, guys? So anyway, we get to a scene where Mercedes is just dousing Shell with water. She got her in the tub. And Shell is trying to hurl insults at Sadie and call her a hoe and all that stuff because she ain't trying to hear Mercedes tell her nothing about what's right and what to do with her child and all of this stuff. She ain't trying to hear that. But anyway, Mercedes is like, you got some nerve calling me a hoe and you the one that freaking being trifling. You got Terica in the driver's seat when she a child, And so then they just go back and forth. We talked about this on the live last night where, she's going back and forth with Mercedes. And she was like, listen, you sure didn't tell nobody you was a child when you was 15, So we found out that she had her baby at 15. I already knew she had her baby young, but didn't know exactly what age. But to know that Cortez was messing around with a minor, it's not good. That's why even if a girl lie to you, fellas, and tell you that she's 18, you still probably shouldn't mess with her because 18, in my opinion, is still a child. Yes, it's legal, but it's still a child. And it's a fine line, I'm telling you, because these girls really do be lying, okay? Anyway, so Shell starts telling Mercedes that Cortez is the one who stopped her from giving the baby back, giving Terica back, because he made her promise on his deathbed not to give Terica back to Mercedes, okay? And so for whatever reason, Shell decides she wants to stay loyal to this man who was not loyal to her. And she also says something like, you think I wanted to stare in the face of his mistake every day? So like I said before, hats off to her. She really did take on more than her man's infidelity. She took on the product of it, But meanwhile, we see that Terica is right there and she's listening. She can hear the whole conversation, okay? The only thing that annoyed me is that later on, Terica went back to Mercedes and she said, so you had me when you was 15 and everything. And that was confirmed. But I just didn't like how she kind of turned it on Mercedes and was like, how come you didn't come back for me? I love the fact that she still loves her mother, Mercedes. I really do. I love that part. Because a lot of times in these shows or movies, we see the child being more angry with the real parent than anything. But I love how it's a little different with their situation. Like, Terica wants to be around her mom, Mercedes. Like, she wants to live with her. She wants to spend time. So I do like that. But I just don't like how it's kind of like she just ignored everything she heard, where Mercedes was telling Shell that she begged her so many different times, can she have her child back? So for Terica to say, you wasn't always 15, why didn't you come back and get me? It just didn't make any sense. Because like, girl, you was right there listening to the whole conversation. You heard your mother telling this lady that she tried to come back and beg for you on different occasions. Like, let's stop. But I want things to work out with this family. And I know that Mercedes, she wants her daughter back. And I hope that it happens for her. Next we get back to the club scene, guys. And it's afterwards. And we already know what happens. Pico and Teak, they get into it. And it's just mayhem, okay? And it's like, we need to get up out of here. Mississippi is like, we need to get up out of here. But the whole time she over here on live, okay? And I was like, oh my gosh, is she about to catch somebody get killed on live? But that's not what happened. Eventually, they was able to get this guy Teak up, get him in the car, and Mississippi was the one that drove off. But before they peel off, somebody started busting mad shots, okay? And they wasn't shooting off in the air. They was shooting into the crowd. Oh, boy. Anyway, guys, Rome says, look like your security gonna need some security. And I'm like, facts, okay? You supposed to be this big old, tough dude. But Pico was on you for a minute, okay? It took a little minute before Teak flipped his freaking behind over, and then he got to wailing. But I'm like, listen, if Lil Murda put the beats on Pico, and then you turn around and he was giving you a run for your money, then maybe Lil Murda don't need you, Just my thought. Next, Haley receives a text from Andre, and he's like, are you taking a deal or what? So immediately, because Uncle Clifford was right there, she says to Clifford, Andre is just checking if we're going to take Corbin's deal. So Uncle Clifford tells her, you going to turn blue waiting on these white people to give you $10 million, okay? Then Uncle Clifford tells her, you need to just settle in good, Miss 69%, because running the club ain't easy, as we well know. And I think she already done found that out in last week's episode, okay? Operations is not her forte, all right? But then she seriously says to Clifford, but what if we could sell for that much money, And Uncle Clifford was like, listen, if so, what I'm going to do with all these girls? Where they going to go? And of course, Miss Heartless freaking Haley says, should that even be any of your concern? And it's just like, Haley, please stop this, all right? Look, guys, I know I've been saying she's heartless. I liked her in season 1, but I don't understand why all of a sudden this girl seems so freaking cold. Like, it's really annoying to me, all right? And I feel like she does have a heart. I know she does. But when it comes to different people, it's like if she's not your friend, which I believe her and Mercedes definitely was friends, and she cared for her and looked out for Mercedes. But it's like, if I'm not your friend, I don't care what happened to you. Like basically, she's not with that humanity stuff is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? But this time, instead of going back and forth with her, Uncle Clifford was just like, I know if I did so, this time I get $3 million, okay? He let her know he know how to count, okay? So we get to the next thing. We got Corbin and Andre discussing Haley's response to his text, right? Corbin was like, what did she say? And Andre shows him the text, which says, staying put for now. 1 mil ain't even the tip, okay? She need the big D offer, guys. She needs the big D offer, okay? So, Corbin, he just, to me, I feel like he turned to like a villain a little bit. I don't know what happened with him, but the same way that they wanted him to sell the land or sign off on selling the father's land, it's almost like he's doing the same thing to Haley and Uncle Clifford. And it's just really weird to me because it's like, you don't want nobody forcing you to give up your land or your part of the land. Why are you trying to do this to them? So I just don't understand this turn with this freaking guy Corbin. But long story short, guys, this scene, I really wanted to talk about it more, is because they started to talk about how nobody would be stupid enough to run against Kyle. And this came out of Corbin's mouth. But I believe he was trying to use reverse psychology on Andre, because Andre started talking like, listen, I might do it, shoot. And Corbin was like, you're not even from Chucalissa, do you even live here? And that's when Andre's like, listen, man, I'm from Chucalissa, I'm born and raised, okay, don't even play with me. Andre also tells Corbin that he got land here, okay, and he's also a registered voter, in which he cast his vote for the first black mayor of Chucalissa, all right? And Corbin was like, oh, well, look at him. Tydell Ruffin's godson picks up the baton, And Andre was like, man, you funny. And Corbin said, you stupid. And hopefully you stupid enough to run, because I sure would be stupid enough to foot the bill, okay? And we gonna see what that's gonna mean, because clearly Corbin is here to undermine his brother, which I have no qualms about that, guys, okay? And we definitely see that got Andre thinking for real, for real. And if he tells his wife that he gonna run for the mayor of Chucalissa, oh, she's gonna be freaking pissed off. And what the heck does that even mean, too, for their relationship and their life? Like, does it mean that he's gonna have to move down to Chucalissa? I think it does. And she ain't hearing that. Next, this is the final scene I'm gonna talk about, guys. And this is the scene where we get to Patrice's church, okay? And we got Kyle showing up with the sheriff. So he come there basically to hand her a little violation, letting her know that she has violated the rules and the codes for social distancing in the church, okay? And of course, Patrice had to throw the pink under the bus when she saw this. So you gonna let folks stop coming in clapping their hands for Christ, but you gonna let them booty cheeks across the way clap on that, I mean, we already talked about this before, guys. The pink do be grinding, you know what I'm saying? So then, guys, the sheriff decides to chime in, talking about, it ain't my fault you decided to F with the wrong neighbor. And I loved Miss Patrice's response. Even though I don't like her, her response was everything to me, okay? She said, was nobody talking to your overseer behind, okay? I loved it. So anyway, long story short, guys, Kyle told her this is effective immediately, okay? The shutdown is effective immediately. And Patrice is like, so where do you expect us to congregate? Like, where are we supposed to meet at? So basically, Kyle is like, listen, anywhere where it's 50% capacity, it ain't his problem. He don't care. He just happy. With his terrible hairdo, he think he won, okay? But Patrice is like, you know what? If I done messed with the wrong neighbor, you done effed with the wrong bee, okay? And I'm telling you, that lady, that line was cool. But that lady is something else, okay? This is supposed to be a pastor, guys. She is a terrible example of what a pastor should be. I'm sorry. She is. She walk around cussing and smoking. And I mean, girl. And she got the nerve to be trying to act like she want to change her daughter Mercedes. Like, I feel like her daughter is better than her, Because it ain't nothing worse than somebody acting all holy and stuff, but then they still out here sinning and doing the same daggone thing. The only thing is you spitting all this righteousness, but your actions is totally opposite. That's the only thing which makes you a hypocrite, That's why a lot of people don't be respecting folks in the church. And I can't stand people like this because it gives church and Christian folk a bad name. But everybody ain't all like that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't all like that. I ain't perfect, and I would be the first to say it. You know what I'm saying? I'm still working out my salvation with fear and trembling. But this chick right here, I don't even think she even gives a crap. She just, listen, the way she got that little money counting machine, it seemed like she pimping the gospel to me. Okay, that's what it looked like. I don't even know if she really loved the Lord. Okay, Patrice is a hot mess. But anyway, guys, that's the video for today. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode and the points that I made in the recap. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Until next time, you guys take care and be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.